So this man that tells this story says that he's seen some wild things in his life, but there's always an explanation. But what happened to him, his brother, and his dad when he was a kid cannot be explained, because what they saw was something like out of a science fiction movie. He didn't want to give his exact location away, but he said that his family had just moved into this old house southwest of Houston, Texas. Their house was on the edge of town and they had a huge backyard. There was a 6-foot tall wooden privacy fence that divided them and the neighbors on the one side, and then a 4.5-foot tall chain link fence that ran along the 3 other sides of the property. He and his brother shared a bedroom that was an old converted sunroom on the back of the house that looked out onto the backyard. It had floor to ceiling windows all along that back wall looking out into the backyard. There wasn't many options for where to put the bed since it was a converted sunroom, so his head of his bed was against the walls facing the backyard, and his brother's bed was directly the opposite with his headboard on the other wall facing him. So when the brother's on his bed, he's looking out, he can see the backyard. He said one night they stayed up late and they were sitting on their beds just talking about random things, and all of a sudden his brother got really quiet to the point where he thought his brother had fallen asleep. But then he hears his brother whisper in a shaky voice, but he couldn't make out what he said. So he's like, "What?" And his brother tries to speak again, and he's like, "What? Speak up, I can't hear you." And his brother forced out a whisper, "Don't move and be quiet." But he's thinking he's probably pranking him or something, so he whips around and turns to look out that window, and he is met face to face with a creature that looks like a dog, nose pressed up to the glass. They were pretty much nose to nose staring at each other. He said this thing was enormous and he just let out the loudest scream. He said it wasn't his proudest moment, but he was absolutely terrified. So this thing ducks under the window, ran to the side of the yard, leaped over the 4.5-foot tall chain link fence, and disappeared into the darkness. So the dad runs into the bedroom and the mom is not far behind. And when they get there, he explains that there was something looking at them through the window. So the dad goes and grabs his pew-pew from the bedroom and goes out the side door to see what's going on. He comes back inside because he doesn't see anything, and they say, "You're probably just had a nightmare." And the brother wasn't any help because he was closed and would not speak, would not say that he had seen anything. So at this point, they don't want to sleep in the bedroom. They wanted to go sleep in the living room, but the parents are writing it off as knock it off, go to bed. So as they are forced to be in their bedroom with the floor to ceiling windows, they are laying there rattled, just terrified. They are both sharing the brother's bed at this point because they are just so scared, and their backs are to the other wall, so they are facing out and they have a clear shot of the backyard. They said after a while, this creature approached the property again. It was so huge that its shoulder blades were the same height as the 4.5-foot tall chain link fence. It sniffs up along the property line and then effortlessly just hops over and is now in the backyard. And now it approaches the glass window again of their bedroom, and it's got its nose pressed up against just like it did before. And these boys are freaking out. So at this point, they're like, F this, and they go to jump out of the bed, and then all of a sudden, there's a huge bang and a flash of light, and this thing gets knocked sideways out of the view of the window. So then this thing comes back into view, and it's running down the length of the huge backyard. It leaps up over the chain link fence and clears the back alley behind it and lands into the neighbor's yard in the back. He said it is at least a 15 to 20-foot jump minimum, and this thing cleared it like it was nothing. And then they see their dad with pew pew in hand run across, come through the side door and slam it behind him. He's screaming, "We gotta go, pack your bags." And they get up, go and stay at a hotel for the night. And the mother refuses to believe that they all saw what they said they saw. Their dad was so rattled that he said, "We're moving immediately." Like, he didn't even want to go back to the house. He just wanted to get out of there forever. But his wife wouldn't have it. So eventually, about 6 months later, after persistence with the dad not wanting to be there anymore, they do end up moving. He says these are the coastal plains regions of Texas. There are no huge canines like that. Like, they might have some stray dogs or coyotes, but nothing that huge. And come to think of it, I don't think anything that huge as a canine is supposed to even exist anywhere. But their dad swears that he hit that thing from 15 feet away with a slug from his pew pew, and it hit him right under the arm in the ribs. I mean, that thing should have been annihilated, but it just effortlessly ran up the yard and leapt into the distance. And get this, the dad said that what was the creepiest thing about it was when it initially jumped the fence to get into the yard, it, while crouched, crept over to the window on its hind legs. He watched it walk up to the window on 2 legs, and then he said it stretched out to make itself taller to peer into the window, and its body looked all wrong. Like it was supposed to be a dog kind of thing, but it was just totally different than any other canine animal he's ever seen. He describes it as almost seeming like a stocky person wearing a dog's suit, but he could tell it wasn't a suit. Like, this thing was a real being. He also said that when he saw it approach the property the first time, when it was supposed to be sniffing and circling around, its eyes were locked on the window as though it were waiting for an opportune moment, like sniffing, pretending to sniff around the ground, all while being locked on the true prize inside the room. Almost like it was kind of waiting to see if anything was going to come at it before it decided to go and get what it wanted. He said that they've had dogs their whole lives, and everything about what this creature was doing was just all wrong. Later on, the dad did tell them that what gave it away, what made him believe there was really something out there to make him grab his pew pew and sort of keep a lookout, was the look on the brother's face, how pale he was. Like, that was not like him to act like that. Like, he had absolutely seen something that terrified him. So that dad was prepared and ready, looking outside, thinking initially maybe there's just some creeper out there, like some person. But thank God he did stare out that window until he saw this thing come back, because who knows what could have happened if he hadn't been there to scare it off. This is one of the creepiest ones, I feel like, for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What could that have been?